The cameras at Roland Garros are trained to follow the ball. The forehand, the serve toss, the slide into the clay. But sometimes without warning they capture something bigger than tennis. And on a cold Paris afternoon, they found Alex Eala. Not celebrating, not arguing, not even standing. Just lying motionless on the clay while 15,000 people forgot how to breathe. Paris, France. May 26, 2026. Court Philippe Chatrier. The second round of the French Open. On paper the story seemed simple. Iva Jovic, the number 17 seed and one of the brightest teenage stars in the sport, was expected to move comfortably into the third round. Analysts loved her power. Commentators praised her composure. Tennis insiders whispered that she was part of the next generation destined to dominate women's tennis. Across the net stood Alex Eala, 20 years old, ranked outside the elite tier, carrying an entire nation every time she walked onto a court. And by now, the world had already begun noticing something unusual about her matches. They never felt small. Not in Melbourne, not in Dubai, not in Rome, and certainly not in Paris. Hours before the match began, Philippine flags were already flooding the grounds of Roland Garros. Entire sections of the stadium had turned red, blue, white, and yellow. Chants of Laban Alex echoed through the corridors long before warm-ups started. The atmosphere didn't feel like a second-round tennis match. Felt like a movement gathering momentum. The first set delivered exactly that energy. Eala's left-handed angles disrupted Jovic immediately. The Filipina dragged the American wide, forced awkward movement on the clay, and slowed the rhythm just enough to create doubt. At 5-5, Eala broke serve with a fearless return game that sent the stadium into chaos. Moments later, she closed the set 7-5. The cameras showed Filipino fans crying in the stands. But that was only the beginning. The second set became suffocating. Every game stretched longer. Every rally felt heavier. Neither player blinked. Neither player backed away. At 3-3, Jovic hit a delicate drop shot that looked impossible to retrieve. Eala sprinted, somehow flicked the ball back over the net. The crowd exploded, and then suddenly stopped, because Alex Eala didn't get up. For a few horrifying seconds, Court Philippe Chatrier fell silent. Eala remained face down on the clay, both hands covering her face. The medical team rushed onto the court. Her coaches stood frozen near the baseline. In the player box, her mother, Riza, clasped her hands together in prayer. Even the flags stopped waving. The cameras zoomed closer. And that's when millions watching around the world saw it. Alex Eala was crying. Not dramatically, not theatrically. The kind of tears athletes try desperately to hide. The kind that appear when pain collides with fear. Because everyone watching understood the same thing instantly. Not now. Not here. Not after everything it took to get to this stage. The commentators began speculating immediately about the ankle injury she had battled earlier in the clay season. Fans online feared the tournament was over. Then the broadcast cameras drifted toward the crowd. And they found someone nobody recognized. A woman in the front row clutching a Philippine flag against her chest, so tightly her knuckles had turned white. She was sobbing uncontrollably. Not celebrity tears. Not camera-aware tears. Real ones. The kind that come from emotional investment so deep it becomes impossible to separate your own story from the athlete you're watching. The internet noticed instantly. Who is she? Why is she crying? What does she know? Hours later, the world learned her name. Grace, a Filipina nurse living in Paris. She had worked double shifts for months to afford a ticket to Roland Garros. She had never attended a live sporting event before. She simply wanted to see Alex Eala play once in person. I wanted to hear our flag being cheered, she later explained. I wanted to feel home again. And when Eala collapsed onto the clay, Grace thought the dream was over. The cameras captured every second of it. But then something happened. Slowly, painfully, Alex Eala pushed herself up. The stadium held its breath. She tested the ankle once. Then again. The medical staff looked uncertain. Her coaches looked terrified. But Eala looked toward the stands, toward her mother, toward the Philippine flags, toward thousands of people who had crossed oceans just to believe beside her. And she walked back to the baseline. The reaction inside Roland Garros was unlike anything the tournament had seen all week. Not celebration. Respect. 15,000 people rose to their feet at once. The applause rolled through Court Philippe like thunder. Even people cheering for Jovic applauded. Because sports audiences recognize courage instantly. And at that moment, Alex Eala stopped being just a tennis player. She became a symbol of refusal. The match resumed. What followed barely felt human. Eala moved carefully at first, then more aggressively with each rally. Every point became a war against both Jovic and pain itself. At 15-love in the next game, Eala won a brutal 14-shot rally and pumped her fist toward the crowd. Grace was crying again in the stands. But this time they were different tears. "That's our Alex," she whispered. The microphones caught it. And suddenly those 3 words spread across social media faster than any highlight from the match itself. That's our Alex. Not perfect, not invincible, but impossible to break. The second set spiraled toward a tiebreak. The tension became unbearable. At 5-5 in the breaker, Jovic saved 2 match points with fearless hitting. The American refused to disappear. Every point felt like it might alter both careers permanently. Then came one final moment. Eala stood at the baseline preparing to serve. She bounced the ball 3 times. Looked toward the crowd, toward her mother, toward Grace, toward the Philippine flags still waving despite everything. And somewhere above the stadium, the cameras found Cristiano Ronaldo again, leaning forward silently with his hands clasped beneath his chin. Eala served wide. Jovic floated the return short. One opening, one chance. Eala stepped inside the baseline and ripped a forehand into open court. Winner. Game. 7-5, 7-6. The stadium exploded. Alex Eala dropped her racket and covered her face as tears finally poured out freely. Her mother rushed toward the court. Her coaches followed. Filipino fans screamed through sobs. And in the front row, Cristiano Ronaldo rose to applaud once more. But strangely, the image people remembered most from that night wasn't the winning shot. It wasn't the handshake. It wasn't even the scoreboard. It was the moment Alex Eala stood back up after falling. Because championships inspire people. But resilience changes them. Later that evening, clips of the match flooded social media. The hashtag Eala fights trended globally within hours. The footage of Grace crying in the stands crossed tens of millions of views overnight. And the image of Eala standing at the baseline with taped ankle, tear-stained face, and clenched jaw instantly became one of the defining photographs of the entire tournament. Not because she looked unbeatable, because she looked human, and somehow kept fighting anyway. That's why the moment mattered. Not the ranking points, not the prize money, not even the victory itself. It mattered because millions of people watching around the world saw themselves in that struggle. The exhaustion, the doubt, pain, the decision to keep going. Alex Eala did not leave Court Philippe that night as merely a tennis player advancing to the 3rd round. She walked off as something much larger. Proof that sometimes the strongest athletes are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who stand back up while the whole world is watching.